And now the Hansons and Hiatus podcast with Nate and Alexis.
Happy Friday, fuckers. It is episode 78 of the Hansons on Hiatus podcast. I am your host, Nate, and this is my wife, Alexis.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
And don't forget to support the podcast. Buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. You can buy some virtual beers there. But as we've recently discovered, now we can do monthly supporters. You can become a fucky.
That'll be great.
And
we would love you to be a fucky.
Yeah, if you go to hansonsonhiatus.com, there's a link, and through Spotify, where we do all of our video podcasts, every one of our episodes is video. So just so you know, you can listen to it, you can watch it, whatever. But you can subscribe to be a 99-cent, $4.99, or $9.99.
Wow,
so
that would be great.
However much you love us, you can donate.
What did we say last time? You can be a little fucky or a big fucky.
Yeah.
And everywhere in between.
Or a Goldilocks fucky, right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Yeah,
I
but
love
then that way you don't have, if you like what we're doing, you don't have to, remember to go to the buymeacoffee.com every month. You can just donate 99 cents or $4.99, whatever you feel appropriate, but we really appreciate any help you can be.
Always appreciative.
Yes, and also don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Instagram, YouTube Music, but also, or obviously it's YouTube and Spotify are our big ones because that's where you can watch the video casts. So.
Yeah.
So check them out there.
Come see our silly faces that we make while we are talking to you.
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on two other things from our Iowa trip that we didn't get to on the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
And this one was we were at it's not a brewery. It's more of a beer bar.
Yeah.
Right? It's
right.
like they don't
brew pub.
They say they brew their own beer, but I think it's like they're like contract brewing or whatever. They're just saying, or they just slap their name on, a beer from this other brewery or whatever. Anyway, they have a bunch of different beers from different places.
And delicious.
Yes. And it's kind of like one of those bigger, like warehousey type of areas. And they always, to their credit, they always have something going on. There's live music, or they have like a puzzle night, or
bingo,
yeah,
trivia.
Trivia, like all these different things,
all the usual stuff.
And then they have a nice little patio, but it's more of like a family friendly environment. Like some breweries aren't so much. This one, they don't have they have a kids area with some games and things like that. It's not like they have a playground or anything.
Yeah.
But we were all sitting out on the patio, and it was us and our friends back in Iowa, obviously. Adam, Lindsay, Aaron, and then their parents, and my parents, and some other people stopped by. So we had like a big table, like 20 people.
It's always a good meeting spot for us.
You're right.
It's a great spot.
So I'm sitting next to my friend Adam's dad, and you're across the table. And like a brewery that allows kids, they're running around crazy.
Always.
Yeah. So we're sitting there, and I hear his dad go, "What the hell?" or something like that, right?
Oh, I think he said, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure. It was like he said a couple different things. And I see something come over like his head.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know what it was. I just thought it was like a pool noodle type of thing, like something, whatever. And it turns out these kids that were running around crazy behind us took the umbrella pole out from the middle of the table and whacked our friend's dad over the head with it. And he has his head shaved and everything, so he has a bald head.
Yeah.
And so it just cracked him right on the top of the head. So I think he was really like, what the fuck? Because he said it a couple times.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realize what was going on. I just thought it was some toy or something. And he said it again. I was like, geez, like relax a little bit, you know? And then I was like, oh shit, like this is like he's actually hurt.
We're assaulted.
Yeah. And so then they go and tell the the one girl working, which
one bartender,
not her fault. This is a huge place.
Huge.
And she was the only one working there. So, of course she can't be babysitting everybody's children out there.
Or should she have to?
No.
She's a bartender. It's like a Wednesday or Thursday. That's your job to bartend and manage your patrons, not your patrons' kids.
And not to say that she should have been babysitting them, but if they had more people there, the person that would maybe be watching the patio could say like, "Hey, blank parents, can you get your kids under control?" Not that they would have to babysit the kids, but she shouldn't have to be. Nobody should be having to do that either. But I guess you would do that at a normal bar if an adult was like being really loud and obnoxious, like a bartender might be like, hey man, like, calm it down. Like, we got a bunch of people over here. They're trying to enjoy themselves. You're being really loud and obnoxious.
Oh, yeah. We've seen people get kicked out of bars for sleeping.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're sleeping. Get out. These kids are running around.
I was
like tired.
Give me a break.
Long shift.
Yeah. Shoot. So I guess this is like a widely discussed thing in beer groups on Facebook typically.
Yeah.
And it's always a debatable conversation. Do you allow children in a brewery? And granted, we don't have kids.
Yeah.
I love kids, but I have certain feelings about this. I wouldn't want to be the guy that said like, no, you can't have kids in a brewery.
Yeah.
But just my personal feelings, I don't feel like it's the place for them. Like,
yeah,
you wouldn't bring your kids to a dive bar.
Right.
And I guess you could argue, well, the alcohol is like stronger at a dive bar. Well, the beers now are, 10, 12, 14%. So I think my thought process with it is, if it just seems, like I said, I don't have kids, so I'm not probably the person that should be talking about it. But I just feel like it's weird to take your children in a car to a place to go drink alcohol and then drive home with them in the car.
Right.
Which it's unsafe for anybody to drink and drive. Don't get me wrong, but it just seems a little bit even more irresponsible. And then I know people will say, well, you're assuming that I'm getting drunk. Well, if you're having more than 8% beer an hour, you're getting a little tipsy at least. I'm not saying nobody's responsible and, people don't drink, a 4% beer and then sit there for an hour and a half or whatever. But I don't know. It just seems weird. I don't have a problem with kids being at a brewery if it's done correctly. I feel like there should be a kids area, just like, remember the smoking areas in restaurants?
Yeah.
It was like, I don't want to be involved around that. So they just made 2 separate sections. So same thing with dogs. A lot of times you can have the dog on the patio, but they can't be inside.
Exactly.
So
I think there needs to be, like, of course, the parents that bring their kids there, they don't want to alienate them. I don't agree with bringing kids to a bar or something like that. But if you're going to a restaurant where they usually sell alcohol, it's kind of the same thing as a brewery. What I don't like is, why are we catering to the children? This is a brewery. You can bring your children. There is an outside area for them to run around a little and do whatever or play with the toys that they brought. But I don't think there should be a kids section there. You are literally promoting it. Hey, bring your children here, dump them off in this corner and play with all these cool toys while you sit there and drink and don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
A good parent, I don't want to say, we're not parents again, good parent, bad parent. I'm sure it's very stressful to be a parent all the time and have one or multiple children, and you need a little bit of relief that, you can hang out with your friends that maybe don't have kids or have other kids, but they're promoting it. Hey, come, bring your kids because of all these fun things, and they have videos on for the kids to watch and whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I
well,
feel like there needs to be a
I don't know.
line.
That's kind of a double-edged sword too, because you might look at it as they're promoting it, but I might think of it, even though, it does kind of promote it more, saying like, hey, you can bring your kids, or you should bring your kids here. Yeah. But I think it's deterring from, we've all been to the breweries where there's nothing for kids to do. And what do? They run around crazy. They're like, I remember at Pontoon, the cornhole boards. I remember one time there were so many kids there. They were all jumping on the cornhole boards trying to break them. Yep. So if there's nothing for them to do, then they're going to be obnoxious to all the other patrons. So I feel like that breweries kind of do it to keep kids occupied maybe. True. And keep them away from everybody else and annoying them.
True. At the end of the day, it's still the parents. Like you were saying, if there's toys or not, you should get your kids off the damn cornhole board or bags, whatever you want to call it. You should bring them toys, bring them snacks, bring them, there's nothing here but beer. So, be prepared for your children. If you have a wild child, don't bring them there, or figure out what they like to play with. It just,
And like part of me is like, I think about our friends Patrick and Lindsay that have young children, and I would hate to tell them like, hey, you can't come to this place because whatever. But then I think we had dogs, and that was a common thing. You go to a restaurant and they'd be like, sorry, no, you can't have dogs in here, or not on the patio or wherever. And it sucked, but you kind of just had to deal with it. But I do I love the beer community, and I do think people like Patrick and Lindsay deserve to be able to go somewhere and relax. And my point about driving, I mean, that's kind of like assuming on me because they could have taken an Uber there, or if it's somewhere where you can walk to the brewery in a neighborhood or something like. So not everybody got there by driving their kid drunk.
Or the mom isn't drinking, or the dad isn't drinking,
right? Exactly.
Or they have a friend driving them, or a sister, or whatever.
But let's be real. I mean, more times than not, that's what's happening.
But I mean, just like you without kids, that's your responsibility. Get to and from the brewery safely and within the legal law or whatever. Same thing for them. I will say, number one, Patrick and Lindsay would never let their kids be jumping on cornhole boards or throwing stuff or hitting a man in the head or this or that. And number two, we did have dogs. We would go to specific places that allowed them, and we would control them. We would bring snacks and treats and their own bowls and whatever to make sure that they had everything they needed while we're sitting there for a while. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a hard conversation to have, especially because a lot of the brewery owners have children, and so they want to make it a place where other families can come. And I completely understand that. And I think it really all comes down to, I don't want places to ban kids. I just want parents to be responsible for their kids.
Yeah, just watch after them. Again, like we're saying, we don't have kids for a reason, but I'm sure it's very stressful. You just want to, it's Friday, you want to get out, have a beer with your friends and talk a little bit, but you still got to keep track of your kid.
Yeah, it just
Some of them they were like, they could be gone. When we pulled up that one day, another day at the same brewery, there was a kid out front riding his bike, but his parents were all the way in the back of the brewery. We're like, someone could have just snatched him. We could have picked him up and thrown him in our car. He was so tiny.
Yeah.
It's like, keep track of your kids. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, I mean, and that back to the story, when we told them what was going on, the parents came over. They kind of apologized, but they didn't really. And then they weren't really paying attention. I think they eventually left. But what this brewery did that I thought was very cool, or beer bar, whatever.
Yeah.
They put out a post and they said, listen, like, this is what they made a little picture that said 0 days since the last child incident or whatever. And they put out this long post about, being responsible for your kids. I don't want to ban children, but you're kind of making it so, I might have to. And it's just the irresponsible parents, because I think that previously or earlier in the year, they had to ban balls, like, because the kids were bringing basketballs and, just rubber balls, and they're bouncing off people's heads. And
we have been there when they were one almost hit your mom one time, or your dad, but when we were there, because of all the bouncy balls flying everywhere.
Yeah. It's just weird that people think that it's like a free for all there. Cause first of all, a brewery is a building where they brew beer.
Yeah.
So it's no different than like a whiskey distillery. Would you bring your kids to like a factory and do that? Like, that's like just very odd. But you wouldn't do that in a restaurant or, like anywhere else public that isn't like kid focused, like, I mean, Chuck E. Cheese, it's different, but you wouldn't go to Applebee's and let your kids running into the kitchen and like, throwing things at people. I mean, you might, but you're going to get your ass kicked out, you know, but that's not like a thing that typically happens.
Tiger and Pharaoh did get out of our sight one time at Sweetwater Brewery and then went behind the bar. So we are guilty.
Nobody was there though. It was closed.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So yeah.
I feel bad for
watch your kids.
For your friend's dad, and I'm sure he's okay. I hope he's okay. But that was terrible.
Yeah.
Very shocking.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that was one of the things that stood out to me when we were back. I was like, damn, like he got hit, like he had like a welt on his head.
Yeah, he had a big bump for a while, but he's okay. Yeah, he's okay now.
But when we got back here to Mexico, we went to this lagoon just south of Tulum, and it's called Laguna. Was that Nopalitas?
Yeah, Nopalitos.
Yeah, Nopalitos. Yeah. And it was like it's basically it's fresh water, so it's really cool. Like you go there and there's almost nothing around it. It's just like this one Neek, I think is that what it's called? Neek restaurant.
I think so. Yeah.
And then there's this other one that's like a lake club. It's kind of like a beach club, but for the lake. But really cool area. It's like I said, I think it's 20 minutes south of Tulum.
Yeah.
And so we've been to this other one before, and it was basically bring your own booze. You got a cooler, food, whatever. There's volleyball and a pool and kayaks and stuff. Yeah. And then we go to this one, and this one is more Tulum focused. Yeah. It's more, yeah. We go in this place and everybody's beautiful.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
I felt like a blob there because, I mean, everybody's jacked and the women are gorgeous wearing these little string bikinis. They all look like Eastern European,
They
right?
do. Our self-esteem took a hit that
Yeah,
day. I
it's
mean,
like-
we were like, nothing we can do about it today, but we're like, damn,
Yeah.
girls and guys. Usually there's a lot more women here that are wearing risque bikinis, and you're like, hey, there were guys too, guys and girls. Just everybody was beautiful.
Yeah.
Everyone was gorgeous.
But this lagoon was definitely a Mexico moment because first we get there and this woman is in the water holding another woman like a baby.
Yeah.
And like spinning her around. I'm pretty sure she paid for this. And then we look later and she has her on the dock and she's giving her this weird massage.
Yeah. Weird leg massage.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there. And then behind us, there was this guy that was just jacked. I mean, I kept on looking at him because I'm like, I'm sorry, Lex, I might leave you.
I thought you were checking him out like, where do you work out? Take me with
No,
you.
he's huge. And then his wife was gorgeous.
Oh my
and
gosh.
they're
Her
all,
friend was gorgeous.
yeah.
They
And,
had kids.
yeah. And yeah, he was like Mexican Aquaman or whatever.
Yeah.
And our friend looked him up on Instagram. He has like 4 million followers and he is the Aquaman from the internet.
Yeah.
Like the Mexican Aquaman. He's swimming with like killer whales, holding his breath, doing like jujitsu underwater. I mean, like, damn.
yeah.
And this guy's here, like in our little neck of the woods. It was crazy.
Yeah. She was, we were flipping out. When she pulled up his Instagram, we were both like, woo, woo. Like, oh my gosh, he's something to look at.
Yeah, it was like Jason Momoa kind of
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
guy,
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then the other thing that we saw that was weird at the lagoon is there was this dog in the water swimming, but it was on his hind legs and just walking around.
He's just like, just this deep in the water. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
Yeah, and he's just like, "What's up, guys? How's it going?"
Walking around.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't have a beer in his hand.
I know. He looked like he was just playing lifeguard, like checking everybody out, making sure everyone's good. Didn't really come up to anybody, just did his little perimeter.
Yeah, yeah. You've heard of Airbud? This is Water Amigo. You know, it's funny. My grandma's dog was named Amigo.
That's so funny.
Yeah, on a little farm in north central Iowa. Amigo.
I will say, you guys, I think we touched on this last time, but you guys have a huge Mexican presence in Iowa.
Yeah.
And like tons of Mexican restaurants, different little shops, bodegas, just everywhere. Now I understand why you love Mexico so much and you wanted to move here.
That's true. Yeah, I love the tacos.
Yes.
Oh shoot! But the lagoon is really cool. It's they got like live music. They had a DJ there. They had a little dog on the.
Oh yeah, very
thing.
dog friendly there. That's another thing. Going back to
Yeah.
the brew pub with kids being loud and maybe dogs have to stay outside. This one was super dog friendly. Everyone had a dog, every shape or size, peeing all over the place. Nobody cared, and it was kind of like you're saying, a more bougie Tulum kind of area, which I was shocked. I know everyone had their little tiny dogs, but they had big chocolate labs and a golden retriever, and then the dog in the water. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Mexico's just like, bring anybody, bring your dog, bring your kids, bring whoever.
Oh yeah. Oh, and that one guy, his name is Tavi Castro.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
has like 4 million followers. His wife has a couple million. His dog,
Kids.
his kid that's like 5 has like 23,000 followers, and their dog has 62,000 followers.
Oh
I'm
my
like, what am I
God.
doing wrong here?
I don't know. They're all beautiful people. We're
Yeah.
just not beautiful
They
enough,
were.
I guess.
So I was trying to I was filming him, like I was filming you, but I was trying to get a picture of him behind you. So I was like zooming in behind.
I will say he looked very nice. He was smiling.
yeah,
Every time we looked over there, they're like,
Yeah. Well, our friends that we were with, Juan and Julieta, I think she already had followed him or was following him already.
yeah.
And the kids came over to play with their pugs because those are our friends. Anybody that sees the pictures of us with the pugs, these are our friends' pugs. We didn't get new dogs.
Yeah, you will know.
Yeah. You will be very aware
Yes.
when we get new puppies. But,
Yes.
but they were playing with their dogs, and she's like, "Oh my God, they're playing with our dogs!"
Yes.
It's crazy.
So exciting. We talked about them all night.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Well, what else has happened since we got back? We had our friend Wanda from Cozumel come over just for we had some donations for a charity, charitablетourism.com. That's a foundation we work with to help underprivileged families here in the Riviera Maya. And she came over to pick up some donations, and then we went out for a drink, and then a couple more drinks and a smoke, and so then she has to go back to the ferry, and it's a little bit of a walk, and she has the donation, so she's like, I need to get a taxi.
Yeah.
So if you're on Fifth Avenue, which if you're not familiar with Playa del Carmen, that is like the Bourbon Street of Mexico, or of our city. And it's all pedestrian walking and stuff. And the taxis there will just fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, it should be like 50 to 100 pesos, which is like $2.50 to $5 to get to a taxi to the ferry.
They call them the taxi mafia.
Yeah. And so the ones on Fifth Avenue were like 250 pesos. So like $12.50.
And Wanda's lighting them up like.
Yeah. And Wanda has been here for like 12 years. She speaks fluent. She's from Canada, but speaks fluent Spanish. She's like, fuck no, like, I ain't doing that. And so then we go the next block over, and what were they trying to charge? 150?
Yeah.
Yeah, 150.
Going down a little bit more.
Yeah, and he's like, she's like, amigo, like, come on. Like, you know, like, I'm just going to the fucking ferry pier or whatever. Yeah. And we're like, all right, never mind. So then we go down to the next one, the next street, and the guy says 70.
Yeah.
And
we're like, woo, perfect.
And truth be told, Wanda covered our drinks at the bar we were at because we had all these donations for her, so she was thanking us for it. So I wanted to like thank her back because she wouldn't let me pay the tip with our tab. So while she had a couple drinks. So when she'd gotten in the taxi on the one side, I went around to the driver's side and I gave him 100 pesos, which 30 pesos on a 70 peso trip is a lot.
Yeah, that's a nice tip.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost fucking 50% tip.
Yeah. You're like, take care of everybody.
Yeah, I was just like, just get her home. And, it's $5. So, and since we didn't pay anything for the drinks, I was like, yeah, that's, I'm going to just give it to this guy and get her to the ferry safely.
Of course.
So I'm blowing her up. Actually, you told me, you're like, you better make sure she doesn't pay her because, you didn't tell her that you were paying for the taxi.
We were talking and I thought maybe she saw you go around and talking to the taxi driver, but I guess she didn't.
Yeah. So I'm messaging her like, hey, just want to let you know, like, I took care of the taxi, like, just didn't want you to pay for it or, double pay or whatever. Doesn't answer. And so then I start blowing up her phone and I called her like 5 or 6 times in a row because I didn't want her to do that.
Yeah.
And then she finally gets back to me and she's like, I paid him. And she paid him 90 pesos. So we could have got that one guy for 150, but we ended up paying 190 pesos for this fucking taxi ride that we should have got for 70.
Yeah.
But we were trying to be, shame on this fucking guy.
Shame on you, Mr. Taxi Man. We were, one woman, just all you had to do is take her to the ferry and you screwed all of us for, 3 people.
And I gave you a tip. You could have been a good person.
Yeah.
Like I gave you almost a 50% tip on it. Like
maybe you just thought, 100 pesos is an extra tip on top of the 70 pesos.
Pinchy taxistas.
Right? Jerks.
Yeah, so that was frustrating, but it was a good time. What else did we do? Oh, we went to the beach this weekend. This past weekend,
we did.
Labor Day weekend.
The beach has been gorgeous.
Yeah, it's been really nice.
And in the summer, it's just always crystal clear, blue, and I don't know what happens.
Bath water. Yeah.
Once everybody's gone, it just turns beautiful.
It's really nice, yeah. But what did we see? Oh, we saw 2 people get kicked off the beach, and not by the policia. It was by the lifeguard.
Yeah, they were blowing their whistles all day.
I heard this one guy, the one lifeguard, blowing his whistle, and we look, and we're like, what the fuck are they? Who are they blowing at? And I look in the water, and a woman's in the water with her dog, which I wouldn't have thought was the issue, but we know from experience we got kicked out of the ocean one time because we had tiger in there, because there is a dog beach now, but it's down a ways. But usually if nobody's around, nobody cares, and you just get, as long as it's not a giant fucking, a big dog or just a giant dog that's gonna be like trampling over people and stuff. It was a little dog. And so she's like, oh, okay. Like, so she gets out and puts the dog down and it starts running around crazy and it's bouncing over people. And then it turns and it spins and it takes a shit on the beach right in front of the lifeguard.
Yes.
It's like, fuck. It's like, you're giving us a bad name, little doggy.
The little wiener dog's like, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah.
How dare you to tell me stop swimming with my mom.
Yeah. And then another guy, he had a glass bottle and they kicked him off. Those are the 2 experiences we've had. We didn't get kicked off the beach. We left with Tiger, so I guess we did there. But like with the glass bottle, we just had to throw it away. But these guys left, so I don't know if they were just pissed or what.
Yeah, but I just don't understand why that isn't a golden rule here. No glass on the beach, ever. Like, you see it all the time here. I don't know why people don't understand
You
that.
can have glass in the pool, typically, unless you're at a big resort or something. But
Yeah.
like nobody seems to care. And
They're just like, yeah, it's glass. Don't drop it. But everybody drops it. There's glass all over the street sometimes.
Oh.
I'm just like,
and we saw those people get kicked out for having their fucking Yetis or whatever in the water.
Yeah,
Like
we-
that's a little much.
we have been pulled out before for having cans, didn't we, for some reason? But these people just had
Maybe.
like their Stanleys or Yetis, whatever, and they made them get out.
It's like you think that's what I don't understand. Okay, so I even kind of have an issue with the glass at the beach.
Yeah.
Because I mean, not that
you
it
don't.
that I have an issue with them reprimanding them with it because okay, so hear me out. Glass at the pool, 100% no, of course. Why is that?
Because you have to drain the pool if you get glass in it, and that's a lot of money and a
Yeah.
lot of wasted resource.
So how are you breaking the bottle at the beach? Because if you can
Yeah.
drop a glass bottle from 10 feet up on the sand, it's not going to break.
True.
Why do and I'm not saying that you should have glass at the beach. Like I think it, try not to, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think some of these things should be maybe personal responsibility. Instead of banning them, reprimand somebody for doing something wrong. If they leave a bottle at the beach,
Right.
then you give them a ticket. Just like anything else. You don't ban dogs on the sidewalk. If the dog shits on the sidewalk, you get a ticket. Or
Right.
if you litter out the window, you get a ticket. They don't say, "Oh, you can't have food in your car," So it's like, why are these things outlawed but they're not just regulated?
I don't know if this is your first day in Mexico, but
Well,
no one keeps track of anything. I
but
know
that's the point. It's like,
yeah.
why are these things outlawed when nobody gives a fuck about anything?
Yeah.
It's like there's been a fucking dead coati sitting on the road for 4 days and nobody's done anything about it. But this guy's getting yelled at having a Yeti in the ocean.
Yeah,
Like,
that seems weird. I don't understand that. We were trying to, is it the straws? And they never walked back our way, so we didn't get to ask them. But I don't think glass should be by water at all, because we have been in the ocean going in or coming out, and I see broken shards of Dos Equis bottles. I see the green, either Heineken or Dos Equis, whatever. We've pulled out glass a couple of times.
yeah, how
I
does
don't
that
want
happen?
to slice my, ACL or something
No,
coming
totally
out of the
understand.
ocean. It shouldn't be anywhere. There shouldn't be bottle caps left on the beach. There shouldn't be
That's a good point.
the pop tops from the beer cans. Those can cut things. And also the animals pick that stuff up. So I don't know why people think, oh, if I'm sitting here, I can just leave my shit and not throw it away
Yeah.
also.
But it's the same thing with cans. You can have cans on the beach, no problem.
Right.
But you constantly see people leaving a pile of fucking cans.
Sure.
Luckily, they're the can guys that walk by, and maybe that's what they're leaving them for. But not even on the beach. If you're walking through the city, there's oftentimes that you see just a beer bottle sitting on the the curb, and that's not illegal. It's not illegal to walk down the street with a beer. Well,
True.
certain
I
areas,
think
but
it is.
well, certain areas,
Yeah,
not
true.
not in the touristy area, but
True.
or even just a can, like. Just put it in the fucking trash can. Why? That's the problem. It's like, why is it so hard to throw things away?
And we just got more trash cans all over the city. We'll see sometimes on our street corner, it literally looks like someone sat down with a buddy and a couple 6-packs and then just lined them up on the curb. They just line them all up and they just leave them there. Glass, like the little barrelitos or a can or whatever. Why?
Yeah,
Take it home or
just-
trade them in.
I
Or,
want to not catch somebody, but I want to see someone doing this
Yeah.
and go up to them and ask them, be like, what was the thought process here?
oh, yeah.
Because like, remember when we were in Tulum staying at our buddy's house and there was, we went to the park and there was like a bunch of, what were the beers? Was it Chimay? I think they were Chimay bottles.
Oh.
Like they were strong beer, like 8%,
Oh,
but they're
yeah,
all glass.
yeah.
And there was like 20 of them lined up against, where the benches in the park.
It looked like you had been there.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Hey, motherfucker.
You wouldn't leave them.
But there's a trash right there. Like, what goes through your head where you're sitting there getting shit faced at the park
Yeah.
and you see all these glass bottles that you've been meticulously lining up,
Yeah.
and you're like, all right, bye,
May-
and just fucking leave.
Maybe
like,
that's it. They're just too shit-faced. They're just like, what? Whatever.
Well, even without that, there's a lot of people that leave things, and I'm just like, why? Like,
Yeah.
why can't you just, like, on our corner,
Mhm.
there's that area where, like, I don't know who's leaving the little trash thing. There's a trash can right there. Just
is.
put it in there. It's like they're trying purposely to not throw it away.
I think I told this story like a long time ago, but the first year that we had moved here, I remember walking down 5th, and this amigo was on a bike, biking around, swerving a little bit, drinking a Superior. I'm like, that's talent, you're just biking along. And then there's the policia up ahead. And I don't know what he said, but he was driving, chugged it, like finished it, and just went bam right on the ground and threw it on the ground. Police didn't do anything.
Was it glass?
No, it was a can, but
okay,
it still had liquid in it. So he just went bam and it went everywhere. And I'm like, what the fuck? And just keeps going. The cops were just like, meh. Didn't do anything. I'm like, why? You're from here. Why are you littering? This is your moneymaker. Fifth Avenue, the beach, all of that. That's what kind of bugs me. These are the moneymaker thing. Even when we went to Egypt, there were plastic bottles and cans by the pyramids. Like if tourism was my main industry of making money in my city, I would be out there cleaning it up.
Yeah, that would make sense. Or at least the government, like pay somebody. People will work for very little amount in these very, destitute areas.
Oh, yeah.
Get somebody to just pick up the shit every now and then. It's like, it's ruining your tourism. It just makes no sense.
People out here sweeping, but it's like they're sweeping up all the foliage and not the
trash.
The trash.
Yeah,
they're sweeping up leaves and sticks and things. I'm like, okay.
Let's see. One more thing. So, what was it? Sunday? No. Yeah, it was Sunday. Yeah. We were going to our friend Carla's place.
I know.
Because she was doing like a little, what was it? Like corn liquor?
Yeah, like maize tequila.
I don't think it was tequila. Some kind of liquor.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just distilled with corn. I mean, to me, that's like Everclear. Like that's like grain. Well, that's grain alcohol. So like something like that. Anyway, it was like a tasting thing on her rooftop, and we're getting ready to go. And it was a lazy Sunday. We're taking a nap, and then we woke up, got ready for this, and I get my backpack, with the cooler pack, and then we go to the grocery store to go get some drinks and snacks, and we were gonna bring like a dip or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, let me shop, and then you run back because that was the other thing. Yeah. We go to the grocery store. It's 5:15. And we forgot on Sundays they stopped selling alcohol at 5.
Rookies. Like, this is our first Sunday here. Oh, my gosh.
It was a weird week, though, because on Thursday, our friends Tom and Cindy came up from Tulum, and we had some drinks with them and stuff. So it was like Thursday it felt like Friday felt like Saturday, and so on. So we were like, oh, it's Monday, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're like, shit, we don't have anything else to bring and contribute. So
I was like, I'll run back and get whatever little beers and liquor things that we have, and then we'll meet outside.
Yeah. So you were like, give me the keys. And I was like, I don't got the keys. I thought you had the keys.
Nope.
You're like, I gave you the keys. And I was like, you didn't give me the keys.
I was like, keys.
Yeah. So normally we have our neighbor upstairs, our neighbor across the hall, and then another neighbor. We all share, or we all have each other's keys just in case anybody gets locked out or needs somebody to, go into our place and grab something or whatever. So we all all those people have either moved or out of town.
Yeah.
So we had nobody that had our keys.
No keys. I was like, what do you mean? And I haven't, once our friends left, I haven't given my key to anybody else yet. So we're locked out.
Yeah. So we call our landlord, and he lives on the other side of town, but he's like, I'm not coming back out tonight for anything. And we're like, shit, like we got to get over there somehow.
Yeah.
Luckily our friends Juan and Julieta were have a car, and they were moving to another unit that day, and they said they'd give us a ride. And then you said, all right, he lives here, let me send you the PIN. So you send him the PIN, and then I get a call in a little bit, and he's like, all right, we're here, where are you guys? And I was like, oh no,
we're outside.
We need a ride to that place,
to the key,
not from there. So he's like, shit. So they drive back over, and then drive us back again. And it's not super far. It's like 10 minutes down there, like 10, 15 minutes, right?
It's easy driving. Walking.
Yeah, walking. It's like, it would have been like 45-minute walk.
Oh my God.
And we're almost there, and our landlord messaged us and goes, oh yeah, hey, I'm going to go out in about an hour. I could probably drop him by. And I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Just one of those Sundays.
I was like, well, we're about to pull up on your house, so forget that.
And then he gave us all the keys. So now we have the keys to everybody's place. So we're going to the key.
That just means we are very trustworthy tenants.
That's true. So
So we missed the party.
Yeah.
We got back in the house. That took like 3 extra hours of our day.
God, yeah, I know, right? That was terrible.
Well,
so
we did it.
Sorry, Carla.
Yeah.
We'll do something with her this weekend.
Yeah. I'm really sad we missed a party. But
Yeah, but I hope everybody had a good Labor Day weekend. It's not really I mean, they have Labor Day here, but actually, let me look up when that. I think it already happened.
yeah. We kind of forgot it was Labor Day. And we were like, oh, yeah, everyone. Until some of our friends from the U.S. were like, oh, yeah, I have Monday off. Oh, me too. We're like, oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah. Dia del Trabajo is in May 1st.
Oh, May 1st. Okay.
But we got a bunch of like holidays coming up here. I mean,
Yeah.
September, we got Dia de la Independencia.
Yes, good job.
On the
hard one.
16th. We have Dia de Muertos on November 1st and 2nd, but then also Halloween, which isn't really a Mexican thing, but they kind of do it in our area because there's a lot of foreigners here.
I remember last Halloween, October into November, we were busy. There was this past year. Years before, there wasn't too much Halloween stuff going on, a little bit of, Dia de Muertos stuff around Playa. Last year, we were busy every day. It was like leading up to Halloween, then we had Halloween, then we had, other things. So I'm sure it's going to be busy again.
Yeah, and then what else do we got? We got... there's like Three Kings Day. That's January 6th. We got Christmas. We got New Year's. We got Thanksgiving. And then I think there's another holiday in there. I just remember as soon as September hits, we have like 10 fucking holidays in a row.
Oh, yeah. They have a lot of holidays.
Yeah. So next Friday, I'll be doing my my beer chug with chilies and nogada. It's like the traditional dish of Independence Day. So I can't wait for that.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's this yummy, like, stuffed pepper with meat and stuff all over it.
And then we're going to Mexico City.
We are.
For our anniversary, September 20 through 24.
Number 7.
Yeah, number 7.
Being married 7 years. Can't believe it.
Yeah, you guys aren't going to believe this flight. I got it for... what was it 365 pesos there, which is about 19 bucks maybe.
Yeah,
about $18 probably. And then on the way back, it's 150 pesos, which is about $7.50. So
I hope we make it there and back.
Yeah. So we couldn't pass it up. We're like, what should we do for our anniversary? We've been to Mexico City, but there's a lot of things we haven't done, which we'll talk about in the next few episodes. Yeah. But we're really excited for it. So it should be really cool. I think the last time we went there was like 2 years ago for my birthday, and we did the hot air balloon over Teotihuacan, the giant pyramid.
Yes.
That was really cool. So.
It's a huge city. It's amazing. There's so much to do. We're going to have to go back multiple times.
Yeah.
To
it's like going to
do
New York
everything.
City, like if you, or wherever, like if you have a bunch of things to do on the list, places to eat and stuff, like you can't do it all in one trip. We've been there 2 or 3 times and we're still knocking things off the list of things we want to do and see. So,
and we get stuff done when we travel.
Yeah. So, so that is it for this week. Don't forget to support the podcast. buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. If you just want to buy us some one-off virtual beers that we will virtually drink in real life, but not virtual, so it'd be real life.
Take the virtual beers and convert them to real beers.
Yeah. But also hansonsonhiatus.com. You can find links to our podcast, our Instagram, how to be a monthly fucky. So you can be a little fucky for 99 cents a month. You can be a medium fucky for $4.99, or you can be a big old fucky for $9.99 a month. And hey, those might be shirts.
Those could be sure. I think I'm going to write that down. Yeah. Different.
I mean, who doesn't want a big fucky shirt?
I know. I want the little fucky. That'd be so cute.
You are a little fucky.
You are a big fucky.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Well, also like, follow, share, subscribe. Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Instagram, YouTube Music, and we're Google Podcasts. So yeah, that's it. Yeah. So awesome. Well, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Happy Friday, fuckers.
Happy Friday, fuckies.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now. Bye.